What if the only thing standing between you and success is the way you think? A person's greatness is not decided by their situation, their background, or even their luck. It is decided by their thoughts. As Napoleon Hill once said, "What you think about, you become." But if that is true, then why do so many people remain stuck in life? This is a story that answers that question. In a busy railway station full of noise and rushing crowds, there lived a beggar. Every day he sat on the same platform stretching out his hand to strangers, hoping for a few coins. That was his life. No dreams, no plans, just survival. One day, as he was begging, he noticed a well-dressed businessman stepping onto the platform. The man looked confident and successful. The beggar thought to himself, "This man must be rich. If I ask him, he might give me a large amount." With hope in his heart, he approached the businessman and held out his hand. But instead of giving him money, the businessman looked at him and asked something unexpected. "Do you always just take from others? Have you ever given anything to anyone?" The beggar was shocked. No one had ever asked him such a question before. Confused, he replied, "Sir, I am just a beggar. I survive by asking. I have nothing to give." The businessman smiled slightly and said, "If you believe you have nothing to give, then you have no right to expect anything in return. I am a businessman. I believe in exchange. If you can offer something, I can give you something. But if you have nothing to give, I cannot give you anything." With these words, the businessman boarded his train and left. The beggar stood there, stunned. Those words kept echoing in his mind. That night he couldn't sleep. For the first time, he wasn't thinking about food or money. He was thinking about himself. "Do I really have nothing to give?" he wondered. 2 days passed and he didn't beg from anyone. He was too busy thinking. On the third day, while sitting quietly, he noticed a patch of wildflowers growing near the railway tracks. They were simple but beautiful, and suddenly an idea came to him. What if I give something first? He walked over, picked a few flowers and returned to his place. This time when someone gave him a coin, he smiled and offered them a flower in return. Something unexpected happened. People smiled back. Some even thanked him. For the first time in his life, he wasn't just receiving, he was giving. As the days passed, he noticed something strange. Whenever he had flowers, people gave him more money. When he had none, the amount decreased. He realized a powerful truth. People like receiving value. One day, as he was handing out flowers, he saw the same businessman sitting in a train. Excited, he ran up to him and said, "Sir, today I have something to offer. If you give me money, I will give you flowers." The businessman smiled, gave him money and accepted the flowers. Then he said, "Now you have understood the value of exchange. Today, you are no longer just a beggar, you are a businessman." Those words changed everything. For a moment, the man stood still, thinking deeply. Then he realized something that transformed his entire identity. "I am not a beggar," he thought. "I am someone who can create value." That day, he made a bold decision. He left the railway station and never returned as a beggar again. 6 months later, at the same station, 2 well-dressed men met. One of them looked closely and asked, "Do I know you?" The other smiled and replied, "Yes, we have met before, right here." The first man looked confused, then suddenly his eyes widened in surprise. "Wait, you're that beggar." The man laughed and said, "Yes, that was me. But today I run a successful flower business. I am traveling to expand it further." The businessman was amazed. "That's incredible. What changed?" The former beggar smiled and said, "You taught me one of life's greatest lessons. We only receive when we give." That day, I realized I was never truly poor. I just believed I was. The 2 men shook hands again, this time as equals, and went their separate ways. Life is shaped by how we see ourselves. If you believe you are small, you will remain small. But if you start seeing your value, your abilities, and your potential, everything can change. Because in the end, success doesn't begin with money. It begins with a thought.